The Chicago Bears sit now at 4-2 after winning 4 games in a row, with the Ravens coming up next week. On today's episode, we're going to look at the performance of the Bears, which one stood out both positively and negatively in last night's game. Plus, we're going to dive a little bit into the mailbag. We got all that, plus comments on Khalil Williams and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this game. It's content for today, y'all. And here's the thing, right? Caleb Williams in yesterday's game was not the best. I mean, clearly, like. It was Caleb Williams' worst game on the season, by far. I think, and he just never looked in rhythm. And Caleb Williams looked like it was times where he was just trying to do too much. He didn't take the things, the miscues on the throws and stuff were there. Absolutely right. Now, for what it's worth, Drew Dahlman, after the game, he did tell Bears media that the snap issues were 100% on him and that he was not on the correct cadence. But it's outside of just that, right? Caleb Williams also, in his post-game presser, said, I can take that blame. And you have to. I mean, let's just be clear here. You have to. Now, the Bears' offense was able to move when they needed to move. They were able to get things done when they needed to get things done. He was only sacked one time. He threw one interception, no touchdowns. But the accuracy was a big issue for Caleb Williams throughout yesterday's game. And, this is something that is that's what we're trying to work out of Caleb Williams' game. This is right now part of the Caleb Williams experience, is that you're going to have games where you're going to have times where he misses some throws. Now, you want him on target more than off, of course, but, it is what it is. Caleb is going to have to get in the lab and work. But I will say this, not every quarterback is going to play a great game. And it's something about a team that can find a way to win a game when your quarterback is off. And Caleb Williams was off yesterday. And thank God for Kyle Guy and DeAndre Swift, Ben Johnson actually incorporating those two rookies into the game plan. That's really good. But pre-snap penalties continue to be a thing when it comes to the Chicago Bears. We gotta get that together. We gotta get that tightened up, man. And so it is what it is. Last night there were 3 or 4 pre-snap things where we couldn't get the ball, bot snaps and things like that. We got to get that tightened up. So the Bears are going to work on that. I'm going to trust Ben Johnson and his coaching staff that they're going to focus on that this week. We did have a short week of practice. Not that it excuses the performance of anybody. You're going to have to, this is the NFL. You're going to play games. You're going to play tough stretches of games. You got to get that shit together. And Caleb is going to wake up from that. At least let's hope that he's going to wake up from that and give a better performance, because we need that. But thank God, the running game, the defense, they did what needed to be done. And I'll tell you what, Dennis Allen, Al Harris, those guys deserve all their credit, man, because they continue to just coach a defense that is just, listen, the way that we get takeaways as a team is not something to take lightly. That's not something. We lead the league in takeaways, and it's a legitimate part of our game plan now. It's a legitimate part of it. 3 interceptions yesterday. 3 interceptions, 4 sacks, right? We also got a fumble recovery in that time period as well. We allowed only 44 yards in total, rushing yesterday to the Saints. They had 17 carries. There's 2.6 yards per carry. The Bears took care of business. And for the second week in a row, 2 of our biggest weaknesses that have been there this season, run defense and our rushing attack on offense, were strengths for us. For the second week in a row, the second game in a row, they were strengths for us. And that comes down to coaching, to be able to get that thing together and get to a place where you're doing those things day in and day out. So I love to see those aspects from it. We just, of course, got things and wrinkles that we're going to keep having to work on. We're going to keep having to iron out. And that's just the team. But like I said yesterday in the postgame show, this team actually feels like it's moving towards a direction now, that we are progressing in the areas that we need to progress, right? And that comes down to the faith in this coaching staff. That comes down to the players coming out there and putting it all out on the line and getting some shit done. So overall, like I said, the Bears got another tough win. And that's the important part of it, that you found a way to win. Keep finding ways to win. Our defense still is legit. Tremaine Edmunds is having himself a season for the Chicago Bears, and you got to give it up to Tremaine, man. Tremaine Edmunds, already 30 solo tackles already on the season, 6 games in, 61 tackles on the season as well. Well on pace to have well over 100 tackles this year. He has 3 interceptions on the year so far. Now, he did have 4 his first year in Chicago, but he has 3 interceptions already through the first 6 weeks of football. 4 passes deflected. He's out there playing and fighting. And I got to give credit out to Tremaine Edmunds and how he's coming here and also perform for the Chicago Bears. And I can't wait till we get Noah Sewell back. And we actually have this linebacking core of him, T.J. Edwards, and Noah Sewell with Tremaine. And that's going to be a sight to see because there's going to be some really good balance in that, right? And the Bears, they just keep finding it, keep chugging away. And, that does not mean that we're not going to have things that we are going to have to work on. We absolutely got things that we need to work on and tighten up for sure. But, faith in this coaching staff and that what we have here, faith in how the Chicago Bears are building, all those type of things that are coming here for this team, man, we're getting it. We're moving along in the direction. So for that, let's go ahead and talk about some of the biggest winners and losers in this game. Some of the players that stood out the most, that made an impact for this Bears team, because there are a number of them, as they are every single game. And I'm going to focus on the good. DeAndre Swift yet again. In the last 2 games for DeAndre Swift have been, if you can give that consistently, we don't need another running back. Kyle Monangai also getting there, but we'll talk a little bit about him. 2 straight 100-yard rushing games from DeAndre Swift, right? He was the MVP for the offense. 19 carries, 124 yards, 6.5 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, right? He had 1 catch for 14 yards as well. It seems like Ben Johnson has understood now how to unlock that run game and how to better use DeAndre Swift. And like I said, we even saw a little Kyle Monangai out there as well, who that's the next player that we got to talk about, because Monangai and what he was able to do, getting the most opportunity that he's gotten. We're a month since Ben Johnson said he trusted Kyle Monangai, and this was the first game where it felt like he really did trust Kyle Monangai, and he used the 2 running back system in a similar way that he did in Detroit. That's what this felt like, right? He was a great compliment to DeAndre Swift. 13 carries for 81 yards. He had his first touchdown as well. I was glad that they gave it to him again on that drive to get that touchdown after he nearly had it on the play before then. He had 2 catches for 13 yards as well. Averaged 6.2 yards per carry. So it's really good to see that one. Having both our running backs average over 6 yards per carry, that's a testament to Ben Johnson trying to focus in on what he needs to give, those type of things, and that's good to see. And I know I just talked about Tremaine Edmunds, man, but you got to keep talking about him. Edmunds is playing great, and so is T.J. Edwards for that matter as well. When you look at it, they both led the team in tackles. They totaled 16 together. Edmunds had 9. Edwards had 7. And so when you look at Tremaine Edmunds also adding a sack and an interception to that as well, which, by the way, T.J. Edwards did assist on that also, is that these are 2 guys they're built, they have that dynamic in that linebacking core, and we've already seen them have a really good balance between the 2, even when Tremaine wasn't playing the best. And Dennis Allen is now built off those concepts and put these guys in even better position. Edwards also had 2 pass breakups as well and a tackle for loss yesterday. So our linebackers, they came out and they did the damn job yesterday, and that's what you love to see from this team. They continue to step up. Kevin Byard. While the secondary as a whole, I guess we could talk about Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker in this one. Our safeties played really good. Kevin Byard had 2 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and an interception on Spencer Rattler. Kevin Byard continues to be that veteran that is just performing really well. Byard now has 4 interceptions on the season, which is tied for the most in the NFL. And Byard is the first Bears player to have 4 interceptions in the first 6 games since Tim Jennings in 2012. So that's been something that you can absolutely look at. And then on the flip side of that, let's look at Jaquan Brisker. He did have a roughing the passer penalty, which was, I don't think that was the right call anyway, but that was probably the biggest negative for him. But you look, he finished with 6 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 sack, 2 QB hits, and we got to see him all over the field. Jaquan Brisker. And Jaquan's starting to get slowly but surely back into that player that we like, that we've seen him be when he's healthy before, and that's really great. And then I got to give it to the whole pass rush. The Chicago Bears pass rush is still a weakness, huge weakness for the Chicago Bears, right? But when you talk about Spencer Rattler and us getting him and putting pressure on him, sacking him 4 times, which is our highest single game sack total so far this season. We have 12 sacks through 6 games so far, and we brought that pressure. Montez Sweat recorded his second sack of the year. Khalil Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, and Tremaine Edmunds all got sacks. We were able to get consistent pressure on that, and that's something that we need to discover and be more consistent at as a team this season. So, it just continues to be really good. And overall, Dennis Allen had himself a really good coaching day, as he always does. Like, Dennis Allen is a gem here, and I love the fact that we have him here on the roster. But let's talk about it. We got to flip it and talk about some of the negatives. Of course, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had a hugely inaccurate day for him. There were too many times where, he got out of the pocket. He didn't make the right decisions. Of course, the chemistry with Drew Dalman, and one of the things that cost us some points when it came down to it, finishing 15 of 26, 172 yards and 1 interception. It was an off day from Caleb. But I can't knock anybody who's concerned about it. And that's the thing that you always want to look at. So Caleb had himself a very rough day yesterday. But hopefully we get a better performance against the Ravens, especially if Lamar comes back. But with that said as well, I also got to look at some of the stuff on the offensive line. Theo Benedict, a guy that we talked a lot about positively, and he had some moments as well, right? But Theo Benedict had some things that he struggled. He struggled in pass protection. Chase Young was giving Theo Benedict work every time he was in there. So Chase Young was in Caleb's face all day, and that was directly attacking Theo Benedict on that side of the ball. He also had some struggles with penalties as well. And so you need that. Now, Theo Benedict was still really good in the run game. Run game, he was still really good in. But pass protection, penalties, Chase Young giving him the work, it was a rough day for Theo Benedict. Only his second career start. That's going to happen as a guy like Theo Benedict. I'm not here to say that he's not going to turn it around or have some solid games in the future, but yesterday was just not the best game for Theo Benedict. It was a rough go for him. Dahlman had a good run blocking day as well, but Drew Dahlman also some bad snaps that we talked about already that cost us some points, which he already took the responsibility for. But Theo Benedict, Drew Dahlman, both those guys, Caleb Williams, those are probably some of the worst performers in yesterday's game. And they got to get it together. And it's quarterback and your offensive line. When those things fall out of sync, your whole entire offense can fall out of sync. Luckily, that did not happen last night, as we were able to find, get that consistent run game going. And that's really good there. But it's just some things that we got to tighten up on in those areas. And, overall, it's been okay. Some other guys, of course, Tyreek had a solid game. Nashawn Wright had himself a really solid game as well, which is really good to see. So, we'll see what happens with that one. But, things are going really well, man. And, Al Harris as well, somebody who, he's reportedly he said before the game that they were going to get 4 takeaways, which they did. So Al Harris is also riding with some big confidence over the players that we have here. And listen, the Bears, they've put some things together. And I always understand Bears fans that have pessimism around this team, but I think that we're starting to see some things slowly start coming around. Colston Loveland is starting to make more and more of an impact. You're starting to see him out there and his route running be more. I think we would have saw bigger from him if we had a better night passing also. But you're seeing Colston Loveland, 4 targets, had 3 receptions, 24 yards, an average of 8 yards per reception on that one. Like, Colston Loveland is slowly, and Luther Burden, these guys are slowly but surely starting to get incorporated more into the game. And once we find and have more of that consistent balance between the run and the pass, once we get both those sides to play well at the same time, I think things are going to go really well for this Bears offense. And the defense, man, I can't stress enough about the defense and then being able to get not only in their pass rush, but also keeping up the consistent run defense, that they had in the last 2 weeks. We're going to need to continue to build off that because shit ain't getting no easier for the Bears, man. After this game, the Bears got to lock in. Let's see if we can get some dubs. With that said, you guys know I like to go into the mailbag the day after games. We got 3 voicemails we're going to get into. This one's from Jay Spence.
Hey, what's up, y'all, man? It's your boy, man, Coach Jay Spence, man, coming straight from 314 to Lou. Just wanted to say on the game today, man, it was good to see, again, the Bears finding another way to win a game instead of let's be real, the whole Eberflus era, man, we found different ways to lose, man, and it was so frustrating. It's like every time you think that they can't find a different way to lose a game, man, they found another way. So today, man, defense coming up big with the turnovers, man, and then finally letting Swift and Kyle Monangai, man, run free and run loose, man. It was a good thing to see, man. So big shout out, man, to the coaching staff, man, Dennis Allen, man, Ben Johnson, Al Harris getting the secondary together. You know, as Patrick as it is, he got them playing good, man. Eric Bieniemy, man, got Swift and Kyle Monangai looking good, man. So it's just exciting, man, to see the Bears on a 4-game win streak, man. It's 4 weeks in a row, man, where we've had, you know, victory Sunday going into victory Monday, man. So let's hope we keep it up, man, for week 5. And again, man, like I said in the live chat today, man, it's nothing like game day without a CBC, man, live call, man. Y'all brothers are doing y'all thing, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Keep up the good work. And all the way from the Lou, man, as always, man, Chi-Town up, bear down, man. One love.
I think the Bears finding ways to win is a major thing, right? You want to find those, I always call those the character building wins. And you can build character as a player, you can build character as a team, and hopefully that character that you build as a team then starts becoming identity. And so, yeah, the Bears, the takeaways, they're a huge thing for the Bears. How we got after Rattler, all those type of things, like that was big for this team, and you need to find ways to grind out those wins. I'm a huge proponent of that. That's something I'm always going to say. Like teams that find ways to win, even the ugly games, those are teams that you usually want to bet on because playoffs, wild card, those things get ugly, right? You're not always going to be as technically sound. And I know Ben Johnson's going to probably lose his mind over some of the things technically we're falling behind on, but yeah. And then you got 2 weeks in a row where the run offense and the run defense has stepped up tremendously. And that's the things that you continue to need as well. So the Bears are moving in the right directions. Let's just hope more and more wins are going to keep stacking up for this Bears team. All right, let's get into the next one, man. This one's from Pete.
What's good? What's good? It's first time calling, man. My name is P. I'm out of Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, man, you know what's really bothering me, you know, about these media outlet guys and these little other podcasters, man. I'm trying to figure out, where do we start talking about trading DJ? And who started that bullshit? Man, look, DJ, man, if DJ not catching the ball, DJ block. If DJ not running the ball, DJ block. You know what I mean? So I just wish people would calm all that. Let's trade DJ and send him. Nah, we not trading DJ, man. DJ playmaker. Caleb, man, I'm not. Of course, he's not regressing, but you know, all that running around trying to make a play, I get it. You know, you're trying to extend plays, man, but you know, Caleb just gotta let that motherfucker whip, man. You know, look for his receivers, man, and get to doing what he do. But definitely, man, a good win, you know, against the Saints, man. It was a good win. It wasn't a nail biter, you know, like the previous week, but I think, man, you know, I think they're getting better. The defense is playing lights out ball. And I'm happy for him, you know. So definitely Chi-Town up, bet out.
The talk about trading DJ Moore, where did it come from? It came from, first off, fans, because some fans, of course, once the Bears drafted like Luther Burden, you see Olamide Zacchaeus, you have Colston Loveland there. You know, same thing that they did with Cole Kmet, right? Let's start moving. Now, how can we move these guys? And I think it's rooted in people realize that DJ Moore does have value and the Bears need some things, and thus you're moving somebody in DJ Moore at a position that has depth. But like you said, no, and I'm not for moving DJ Moore right now. DJ Moore does a lot of really good things. He helps takes the pressure off things. And I want for once, and I keep saying this, to operate from a place of positional strength before we give up any of it. Like we haven't even had a full season of this wide receiver core. Let's keep this together. I'd much rather be operating from a place of strength before we do anything. It was a bad game from Caleb as well, which we talked about. Caleb is going to have to tighten that shit up, but I'm going to trust that he's going to get that done. And, you know, hopefully the Bears can continue winning some football games. Man, losses are going to come. And I, you know, we'll see if we have a losing streak of 2 games or more at some point in the season. Losses is going to come. And I think the next thing to see is how does this Bears team react and rebound from that eventual loss. I want to see this win streak continue as long as it can, but you know, once you do get that, a tough loss or tough 2 losses, how do you rebound from that, right? Do you go back to some of the things that you did before? Do you trust your coaching staff? Do you trust each other? That's kind of the thing I'm looking for next from this team, if that makes sense. But all right, let's get into the next one, man. This last one that we have today, this one is from Corey.
Hey, look, this is your boy, Corey Moe, calling from Little Rock, Arkansas, man. Look, I really believe that after watching today's game against the Saints, we don't need a runner. We don't need to trade for a running back. We don't really need to trade for anything. Now, what I will say, if we do trade for something, let's just keep our eye on the cornerback situation with Tyree Stevenson going down, and we already know that Jalen Johnson is out. Don't know when he's coming back. I would just say let's keep our eye on that if we're gonna trade for something. But other than that, man, we are looking really good on both sides of the ball. Wish the wide receiver group in the passing game would have showed up more. The tight ends would have showed up more. But I think we got what we need to handle our business going forward in the season. Let's keep our draft assets and capitals. Let's keep our money and look forward to the next off season. But we rolling. Chicago up, Little Rock up, but bear down.
I would say that the cornerback position is not one that I would want to trade for right now. I get why you're saying that. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that you're crazy for looking at that, considering the injuries that we have at the cornerback. But I think with Kyler being back and getting up in rhythm, I think Tyreek has shown that he's going to be solid, and can be even more than that this year as the CB1. And I think overall the strength of the secondary with Jaquan and Kevin Byard and even Owens, like them playing the way that they have and just getting shit done, Tremaine playing in coverage, I think we're going to be fine there. So I'm not as worried about that. But I will say this, I also wouldn't be mad if the Bears don't trade any of their draft assets, as you said, and hold on to that, right? Now, I do think there are going to be some Bears fans that if the trade deadline goes by and the Bears don't do something, they're going to lose their shit. But holding on to those assets, depending on, this ain't the NFL, you can find a long-term starter late in the first round in the NFL draft. That's going to start for your team years and years to come. And I can't be mad if Ryan Poles values that than going after a player that's going to have a huge contract, and then you're going to have to balance that with Caleb. If you can continue getting what you need from finding youth in the draft, then that's what most teams would do. Now, I do think some positions you want veterans at. And, running backs, you can have a running back come in the league that can be one of the best running backs in year one. I'm starting to feel like if the Bears do make a move for the veteran, whether it's either at this trade deadline or in the offseason, I kind of want a veteran-proven edge. And, I think Austin Booker's going to come in here and have a really big season, but I think I still want that veteran-proven edge if we're going to make that move. That's just my personal opinion, but you guys can let me know how you feel on that, as always, down below. But that's my time for today. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up or bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.